this here. Okay, so yeah, welcome to Alarm Guard University, and this is the 101 of Alarm Guard U, and I want to bring this to you guys today to let you know that if you're getting started in door-to-door sales with Alarm Guard, it's because you have a certain purpose, a reason as to why. You were either brought in to the organization and you even contemplated or even thought about why you would want to actually do, door-to-door sales for Alarm Guard and the ADT brand in general. And I'll tell you, going back to myself and why I chose to do this. Well, for me, alarm sales made a ton of sense. And jumping back over 12 years ago, getting started doing door to door sales, you see, I had a vision to one day really learn this business so that I can teach, train others, but make it very extremely rewarding. Somewhere where I could not really go out there and find the financial success that it could possibly create in another venture. I had to think and ask myself, is this something I really want to get good at? And to me, the honest answer was yes. I'm up for a challenge at all times, but you see, everybody to a certain degree likes any true entrepreneur, I should say, really likes a challenge, but not everybody is willing to do what it takes to really fight through to win at that challenge of what they're faced by. Now, if you're obviously doing this, you're doing this for the sole purpose of you want to do well and succeed and make great money selling, security products and services. And you probably sold yourself in to a certain degree on what the products and services do, but to what level? And that's what we're going to discuss a lot about today. I'm also going to go into some product knowledge. So just a little background to start about me. I focus and do nothing but focusing on door-to-door salespeople, and a big portion of my time is consumed by helping develop door-to-door salespeople. Now, why would I even care? Like why would I care to develop door-to-door salespeople? Well, one, it's extremely rewarding for myself, and two, and in multiple ways, both financially, but also extremely rewarding for myself in the aspect of watching somebody who is struggling to start but knows and believes that they've chosen the right path, to take them to not knowing and understanding what the process is like, stumbling and fumbling at the doors, and then all of a sudden getting it and turning into a closing machine, is why I personally do what I do, because now that person obviously converts more people, prospects he or she speaks to, then turns into sales, which, as we know, sales is the driving force that turns the big machine that we have. When we generate sales, we obviously open up opportunity for more people, for yourself, and it's fun. It becomes exciting to, really be there, to note that when more sales comes in, we get to do more fun and exciting things. So there's there's zero things, there's nothing you can think of that's negative to a real clean sale. All the way from the customer getting an awesome deal and being protected by the largest brand, all the way back to you getting paid, to Alarm Guard getting taken care of, ADT getting what they need, the full out investment into the actual customer. It's a win-win situation. Your biggest challenge is going to be, and by the way, yes, that's me in front of my vehicle, and as I was training and teaching and developing, door-to-door salespeople, I noticed this was my knack, to actually be, really brothers and sisters to people who really want to learn. I blog a ton at doortodoormastery.com. So anybody really who really wants to learn and master the art of door-to-door sales, you got to hawk my blog as well. You got to ask me questions. You got to go to the trainers and say, Paul, Chris, or my managers, I'm falling on my face. I know and believe I'm going to get this, but I'm willing to put the time, the work, and the efforts into it. Can you help me, become a closing machine? The answer is yes, but, you really have to be open-minded enough to say, this is something that I'm going to do and I understand the reason why. So I'm proud to announce that this business has made me a millionaire, and I want the same for you. Can each and every one of you, can it do it for you? Yes. What it's gonna take, listen, learn to walk before you can run and fly, okay? Learn to walk, learn to jog, learn to run, learn to fly. Listen, take it in steps and believe that you can actually get the job done, and you will see it will turn in and convert into sales. It will convert into development. You will become better than you were yesterday, as long as you continue to keep up the momentum and continue to push through. That's what's very important. So that's a little part about a little bit about myself. Now, here's a little bit of the training overview that we go into today. We're going to go into how alarms work, jump and dive into product knowledge, why people buy alarms and all that, everything about the general information that you need to be equipped with, that your mind needs to be equipped with to be able to convert prospects into sales. So why people actually buy systems, that's what we're going to dive into. And we're going to dive into some questions and answers. And then tomorrow I'm going to come back and we're going to be talking about at the exact same time, we're going to be talking about with the exact same links, we're going to be talking more along the lines of understanding the pitch and how we speak and communicate and talk to people, and making sense of that full pitch. So that's what we're going to dive into tomorrow. So let's get started. You see, when you're going to be knocking on doors, your biggest challenge is going to be you. It really is. It's going to be inside your mind. Your challenge is going to be this. You're going to get dropped off on turf, or you're going to drive out. You're going to go to turf, which is neighborhoods, of course, with homes out there. And you're going to have to fight the challenge to, when you knock on a door, believe that when customers are going to tell you, and by the way, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if you haven't already knocked on doors, you're going to have to fight the urge to, when you knock on a door to start and people tell you not interested, to actually believe them that they're not interested. Okay? This is going to be your biggest challenge. And everybody, I'm going to challenge you to write this down. This is not just a webinar that you listen to and say, oh, that sounds cool, and see you later. I'm going to question you guys as well. So please make sure that you guys have a notepad and pen, or if you're in the digital age and you have a little digital notepad, that you write these things down, because I want you to succeed. I'm not going to be that coach who's going to just be nice and friendly, which I am, but nice and friendly just to sound pretty and, sign off, and then you guys just go out into the field and do the exact same things you were doing yesterday, and hence, expecting a different result. Listen, as a personal coach and personal development person in this game of door-to-door sales, I'm going to train you to ethically sell at the doors, to, number one, get your mind right, but number two, how you present yourself and what you say at the doors to get you fixing that up. Now, the best part is, and it may be the best part for some of you, but some of you may be like, oh, really? 99%, and well, to be quite honest, around 90% of whether or not you're going to get the sale is not what you say. So let me rephrase that. 90% of the sale is not what you say at the door. But the mass majority of people, they focus on what they say at the door. They say, Paul, can you teach me your pitch? What do you say at the door? When you're talking to people, tell me the secret phrase. And you may not say it in that exact same way, the secret phrase, but they say, can you just give me the pitch so I can learn that and then I can sell? Well, guess what? I have a pitch, and it's on a piece of paper. And when I wrote it, I thought, I can't even write a pitch, because what I say to people is not the same at every single door. You see, it's like art. Door-to-door sales is like art. Number one, you need to understand why you're doing it, okay? So I'm going to stop and we're going to contemplate right now to think inside your head, why did you start door-to-door sales? And as you see this image of this house, this is an image where I take a lot of time on, because right there, what you're looking at right now on my screen, where we place sensors inside somebody's property, is our business. This is what we do. When you take a look at this property, ladies and gentlemen, when you take a look at this property, what I see is a few things. Number one, I see opportunity. Opportunity for first of all, a burglar to break into this property. I also see opportunity for a person who owns the property to rent that property out, perhaps. I see also that homeowner who has that property to have the opportunity to have a wonderful life inside their house with their family, perhaps a bad life for themselves inside that family. A lot of emotion gets taken place inside of a property. I also see the opportunity for the homeowner to possibly use that property as an investment property. I see that as an opportunity for a salesperson to go there and sell sell product to this prospect. I also see that as an opportunity for ADT to invest into us, for Alarm Guard to actually install the system, to get the technician paid, to get the salesperson paid, to have a win-win situation so that, number one, that property over there gets eliminated the possibility of a break-in happening. Meaning we like to make sure that bad things do not happen to great people. And hence it's a win-win situation. So this also, when I take a look at a property, I say, you know what? Especially when I got started, this is an opportunity for me to learn what I'm doing so that I can give the opportunity to other people to protect and serve people with the best product and service on the market for the best brand with the best team. Win-win situation. Now, I can say that all day long, but the reality is you're going to have to study to figure out for yourself if you personally believe it. Here at Alarm Guard, everybody from your sales manager to the brand that you wear all the way up to the CEO and the executives, everybody cares about each other's success. And I know a lot of people say this, but dig around and find out for yourself. If your executive team cares, if your managers care about your success, are they reaching out to you? Are you reaching back out to them? Are you putting in your effort? Because a lot of people like to point the fingers. Again, I'm going to take some time on the slide and then we're going to progress forward. But a lot of people like to always point the finger and say, oh, this person, that person, this person, that person. Ask yourself and truly ask yourself, are you doing everything you possibly can to acquire the knowledge and skills and doing what your coaches are saying in order so that you can master with a purpose this opportunity? So, when I knock on a door, I think about all this. I envision all this. I say, would I want, heaven forbid, would I want somebody to break into my property and for me to not be equipped with the proper products and services inside my property that can prevent, heaven forbid, if somebody were to intrude in my property? How about my neighbors? How about my moms? How about somebody I truly care about? Like, really, at the end of the day, everybody in my neighborhood. Am I pro burglary or am I against it? And of course I'm against it, or else I wouldn't last a day in this business. And of course, if you've decided to commit to this, there's very few people, there's way less people who are pro breaking into people's houses. So the best part is, since we already understand and identify that, look, breaking into people's property, crime is a bad thing. Well, let's present a solution for people who see eye to eye. Now, there are going to be people who are going to believe that the odds and chances of them being broken into are slim to none. That's normal. But remember, every single person, I'd have to say about 99.9% of the people, believe it's a slight chance. Not there's no chance, meaning they're open to the possibility that a crime can happen. And every single person has a different level of what they believe the possibility is of them getting broken into. So everybody has a different meter as to what that possibility is, meaning, hey, I personally believe there's about a 5% chance I can get broken into. Another person you talk to, honestly, I believe there's about a 50% chance. Honestly, because we live in a neighborhood or it's been happening recently, now I feel there's about an 80% chance that, we can happen. The feeling, I'm not saying the actual probable cause, I'm saying the feeling. What's your feeling of whether or not this property can be broken into? And understand that as we communicate and talk to people, especially because we have a product and service that does not cost a lot, it's fairly inexpensive and it does a ton, enters the opportunity for us to hone in and close deals. Okay, but in order to do that, you need to understand. Exactly why. Okay, you need to understand exactly why somebody would actually want an actual system inside their actual property. Okay, so in order for you guys to actually see the screen, by the way, just make sure that you guys, where it says uh, Paul would like to share his screen with you, that you guys accept that, just in case for some of you who cannot see it. Anyway, aside from that, here is a property. When we knock on a door, okay? So when we actually knock on a door, okay, you're going to take a look at this house. And keep in mind that this property that we're knocking on might have somebody at the property. Also, it might have a security system already in it. It might be already monitored. It might not be monitored. There might be no system inside the property. We have no freaking clue what's inside that property. Now, how do we find out? How do we find out what is inside that property? How do we find out? It's a simple answer. We knock on the door. Now, in order to knock on the door, you have to have inside you that built up emotion. You have to have inside you that built up emotion of being careless of what people think. Now, let me be very clear on this. The majority of people, and even myself, when I first started, everybody, there's a different level of emotion that people feel when they knock on a door. Some people's knees shake and they're extremely fearful of what that person will say or think of me when they knock on the door. That's fine. That's normal. And everybody has a different level of what they feel when they knock on that door. Now, what I found from training over 10,000 door knockers, clearly over 10,000 door knockers, is that people who stick in with it and push themselves at every single door to become stronger, to use the methods I teach of self-talk, self-awareness. When you're knocking at the door and you speak to yourself like, you know what, Paul? I can and will do this. I'm not going to let somebody on the opposite side of the door just take a look and think of me as some random schmuck who showed up to the door, because I'm not. I have a purpose as to why I'm knocking on this door, and that purpose is something way more than just being a door-to-door salesperson. So hence why I started it off, this webinar, with find out what your why is, why you're doing this. Now, a lot of you may say, Paul, I'm doing this because I need to pay my bills. Well, that's great. But there should be more than just paying your bills as to why you specifically chose to do residential and commercial security products and services for Alarm Guard partnered with ADT. You need to really think why. And I'll tell you my why. You see, this house you're looking at on the screen right now, if someone were to break into it, I know they have as much time as until the homeowner shows up at home, or heaven forbid, if somebody is inside that property and a burglar breaks in, possibly they may leave the property, but there also might be an issue where they're confronted with the person who's inside the property or people inside the property, and an unfortunate event can happen. Now, I also know at nighttime, these creeps who try to break into properties at nighttime, when these people are sleeping inside their property, these innocent bystanders who are inside their actual property, these innocent homeowners, these innocent citizens that are inside, do not deserve to be taken advantage of. So for when somebody breaks in from, let's just say, a back door or a front door, that they actually just come and do what they want and as they please as people are sleeping. See, I don't personally believe that that is correct. I believe that's not a fair advantage. I believe that if someone were to actually break into my property, first of all, of course, it's wrong, but that I deserve a standing chance to, first of all, note that somebody's breaking into my property so that I can actually protect myself and my family from actually being notified and woken up that, hey, somebody tried coming in from my back door. Stand up and fight like a man. I actually personally believe this. Now, of course, I hope and pray that they just leave the property, but at least I know. And how so? And how do we do this? Well, guess what? What we do, this is exactly what our products and services do for people. It's able to protect them. It's able to deter them. It's able to turn that event away by placing sensors, which I'm going to speak about, inside this property from happening. Now, that's just on burglary. If anybody's ever been in a house fire, I have been. It's the one of the most freakiest events you will ever face in your life, if heaven forbid, and I pray that it never happens to anybody. It is a freaky event. I literally woke up to seeing nothing but smoke. Couldn't see an inch away from me. Couldn't see an inch in front of me. Could not. Massive fire happening and it's just glowing, and all you see is a glow. And you feel this heat and you're like, no freaking way. It was a terrible event that happened many a years ago, way before I even started this. Not even my college days, pre-college days. But thankfully, obviously, I got out alive. But it was a freaky event when I knew this product and service does that, and people can literally buy it for $200 for one of our monitored smoke detectors, and you can still make a ton of money on that at $200. It is a no-brainer, but you have to learn how to present it to people. Now, I'm not saying how to strong arm sell them, because I don't believe in strong arm selling. I did when I started this business over 12 years ago, and I was knocking on doors. I was a strong-armed salesperson, and I didn't like, nor was I outselling the people who were not strong-arm selling people. You see, selling security is not like selling candies or magazines door to door. It's not. And the good news is you don't have to be a pushy salesperson in order to close deals. And as a matter of fact, if you're a pushy salesperson, you're not going to sell deals. But you need to be assertive, and you need to continue to move forward through your process to get inside the property to do an in-house demonstration presentation, which I will train and teach you how to do. But you got to be a great person to be able to explain, and I really truly mean this. You got to be a great person. And great people care about others' well-being. Now, it doesn't mean they just go out there and just do everything for everyone and they don't care about themselves. No, because then you're not happy. But you got to care about people in order to succeed in this business. If you don't care about people, I assure you, you'll just get by, you'll make money, and then you'll quit and you'll leave and you'll go do something else. We are in the people business, and we care about people, protecting their properties, giving them protection for their largest asset, and also things that can't be replaced, which is family members. Certain things inside their largest asset, which is their property, that cannot be replaced. So let's dive in and let's actually move forward on this. So I'm going to teach you the basics of how an alarm system works. And this is very important, and you're going to want to write this down, okay? Because your potentials, and I'm going to say potential clients, because you got to turn potentials into actual clients. That's why we bring you on as door-to-door salespeople, and hence why door-to-door sales works so well. Well, let's think about it. If we go back to this previous slide, where are we? Where does our product and service, everything we do, our bread and butter, our sales, our home security, our commercial, where does it go? It goes inside their house. Knock, knock, where am I at? Where my products and services go? Door-to-door sales for residential and commercial security products works wonderfully because we have the largest brand, but also we're at the prospect where the product goes and in their property. So you have to be extremely meticulous on how the security system functions. You got to understand. You got to be comfortable knowing how your products and services work. And as you start to get comfort in how your products and services function and work, that's how you're going to start selling more accounts. Because when you're faced with these objections, rejections, as questions that they ask you, that you know the answers, when you acquire the skills to be able to answer any questions that your potentials are asking you, this is where that confidence comes into play. See, some people can build confidence overnight, while other people it takes a little bit of time. But the reality is the only way you're going to build confidence is if you acquire skills. When you acquire skills, and let me ask you this. For those of you who enjoy hockey, if you were, somebody right now who was going to step on the ice and play against Connor McDavid, or you were to step into the octagon and fight against Conor McGregor, let's not talk about that incident. But if you were to step in the octagon right now, how confident would you be? You would not be that confident. I know it. I know personally you would not be that confident. Now, however, let me ask you this question. If you were to acquire the skills because you were training, you were to go in and have a coach to teach you and educate you, and you were to step in the octagon and step on the ice for, many a years or many a months, do you think you would start acquiring other skills that you have from before actually starting and doing and training? Folks, Training. Yes, your confidence builds up as you acquire these skills because now you know and feel and understand. So understand that the number one way you're going to get good is by knocking on as many doors as you possibly can so you can get comfortable and you can acquire these skills which will then ultimately turn into confidence. And as you increase your confidence, what do you think happens to how much potential you use at the doors? It goes up. And as you use more of your potential at the doors, what do you think happens? If you're using more of your potential, do you think you get a better result or a less? If you're trying to look for a significant other and you try looking once a week or you post an ad on, and I'm married, so, and I got married way before this time, but, let's just say you post an ad or you post a listing saying, hey, I'm looking for somebody, or you go walk up to one girl at the bar and say, hey, would you like to give me your number? One person as opposed to doing it more often and start learning how they're socializing with you and, finding ways to actually communicate with them to, brew up this relationship so you can finally, ask them for their number. Don't you think you would have a better result if you're putting more of your potential going, 6 days a week as opposed to 1 day a week looking for somebody? You would have a better result. You would ultimately find the person of your dreams. You would ultimately get more sales if you worked more. However, as you work more, you acquire better and more skills. It's no different in door knocking. You have to consistently do this. You have to consistently be studying your product and service. It has to make sense enough to you to make sense enough to your potentials. Okay? So understand, once you actually start to acquire these skill sets, you will then start to actually bring in more accounts. But the majority of people are not strong enough. I assure you, the majority of people who get started with this, they're not strong enough. Now, I'm going to call everybody out on this because you're innocent until proven guilty in door-to-door sales. It's a reality. And when I mean innocent until proven guilty is that you have the opportunity to go out there and make it happen. But guess what? Very few people can withstand getting the not interested in the beginning in order to ultimately get that, you know what? I'm starting to get this. It's starting to make sense. And it's no different than, fighting in the UFC, for example. Really? How many fighters do you know, just think about this, who are training over and over and over again? And I know personally friends that have done it for like a year and a half, and then guess what? They're like, yeah, it just wasn't for me. I gave up and I quit. And I know people do that after 2 months, 3 months. And guess what? I never chose that profession because that's not me. I wouldn't last a day in it because I don't enjoy fighting. I'm not a fighter. But guess what? I'm not a fighter physically. I'm a different fighter. For anything that I choose to do it because I understand why I chose it. But guess what? I fight until I win. Did you hear that? If you chose to do this, why I started off with your why are you doing this? And I told you my why. If you understand why you do it, why would you ever think of, and I shouldn't say why would you ever think, because I thought of quitting. Of course, the thought will come in your mind when you're faced with adversity, when you're faced with challenges. You will be faced by it, but what you do with that thought, saying it's ridiculous, it's hideous, I'm going to go knock another door, I'm going to acquire more skills, I'm going to build more confidence, and this is what I will do so that I can become the best, massive, most producing, cleanest office. I will be the top sales guy, and I will have other people shadow me so I can teach and train them. Why? Again, so that I can protect and serve these clients and potentials. That's when you're going to ultimately start closing and becoming this closing machine. So how do you do that? Well, let's educate you and develop you. Develop your skill set. Let's develop your skills. And I'm going to start off with the overview of the alarm process. Here's how it goes, okay? Heaven forbid somebody breaks into a property, okay? Let's go back and actually think of this property, okay? If let's just say, and for now, let's just say a security system is protecting this property. And I'm going to get into the details of these because we got door sensors, we got window sensors, we have motion detectors, we have different types of glass break sensors, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, flood sensors, free sensors, actual panic buttons. We have ways of protecting a property, okay? Massive Fortune 500 companies obviously use the ADT monitored systems. They work, they function. I'm going to explain how. But this is how it works. So somebody breaks into that property that you're looking at, okay? As somebody, heaven forbid, breaks into the property, picture this. A loud siren will sound. Woo! 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 So you got a burglar that just broke in here, as you see on the left-hand side. He's broken into the property, and a loud siren is going off. Think about it. Envision this. You see, I'm a visual person, and you need to when you're if you sell based on building visual images inside your potential customer's house, you're going to see an increase in the amount of sales you get. So think about this. Somebody breaks into a property and a loud siren's going off. Woo, woo, woo. And as this siren's going off, this person's inside the property. Do you think a burglar is going to stay in that house longer if there was a siren going off, or longer if there was no siren going off? Me personally, I believe if a loud siren's going off, a burglar would more than likely leave the property, but chances are they may still scrummage through the property. They may still be in there, whether they're drugged, on alcohol, drunk, on drugs, you name it. They may still stay and be inside that property. Okay, understand that. So they're inside this property and a loud siren's going off. Now, as a loud siren's going off, which deters the burglar, but perhaps they decide to stay. Well, regardless, what's going to happen is the system itself, the panel, the keypad, will actually dial out to ADT. So burglar breaks into the property, loud siren goes off. I'm going to explain how, but a loud siren goes off. And then what happens is the system dials out to ADT. And ADT has live monitoring reps who are basically monitoring agents who are on they're sitting by their computer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, numerous multiple monitoring agents. And what happens is on their screen, as you see on the upper right-hand side, on their screen, what happens is it says, hey, there's a break-in that's happening at this property, and it happened from the front door. Okay? So I need you to verify to the agent if this is a burglar or if this is the homeowner. So what happens is ADT, they quickly, and this is all happening instantly, and I'm going to recap it. So you're going to hear me repeat because repetition is the key to mastering anything. As a human, repetition is the key to mastering anything, okay? So what happens is the burglar breaks in, a loud siren goes off, the monitoring agent over at ADT gets notified, it pulls up on their screen that this home address with this alarm system and the front door got broken into. ADT rep says, I need to verify if this is a burglar or if this is, just a random alarm event that happened from a homeowner that accidentally tripped their system. So what ADT does is they will actually call into the home, and we'll discuss how there's multiple ways that ADT can do this. They will call back into the property and say, hey, is this the homeowner or is this the burglar, in multiple ways, and I'll explain how. And once they distinguish whether it's a burglar or perhaps it's the homeowner that accidentally tripped the system, they decide what to do instantly in that second. So if it's a burglar, and I'm going to explain, they obviously send the local police department, the local police officer directly over to that property. If it's the homeowner, bygones be bygones. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and goodbye. And I'm going to explain how that works. But let me recap, and now, since you understand the general concepts, I'm going to break into very simple how it works. Alarm siren goes off, and we're going to assume in this incident it's a burglar. Burglar breaks into a property, loud siren goes off. Now, once the loud siren goes off, instantly that panel dials out to ADT and says, break-ins happening at 123 5th Street. Okay? Monitoring agent says, oh, wow, okay, let me call the home phone line or, connect live over the actual panel and say, identify yourself immediately. Okay, hi, my name is Paul and my password's pizza. Incorrect password, police are showing up directly to the property. Okay, or nobody answers the phone or nobody connects live over the intercom system. Instantly sending the police over directly to the property. A police officer showing up to a property with a burglar inside the house. Great thing for a homeowner. Well, I shouldn't say great thing for a homeowner. Not a great thing for the burglar, but not the best thing for the homeowner, but at least the system protected their property. Heaven forbid if there's confrontation inside the property and a burglar's inside, well, you best believe that that's going to protect and serve the homeowner. So here's the three types of monitored systems, the basic types of monitored systems. Okay, there's a basic one-way system, which means when the alarm gets tripped, remember, ADT gets a signal that there's an alarm happening, and the homeowner has to have a good old-fashioned home phone line. This is the old-fashioned way of doing alarm systems, which we still offer because it's the least expensive package, okay, that homeowners actually have. But what happens is An alarm gets tripped, sends the signal out to ADT, and what ADT does is they call the home phone line. The home phone line rings, ring, 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 ring. And if the nobody picks up the phone, because perhaps let's just say a burglar's inside the property, and they don't pick up the home phone line, you best believe ADT is dispatching the police out, because it shows the monitored agent that, hey, the front door got breached, or the living room motion detector got breached. Somebody broke in from there. Well, they're sending the police over saying, hey, 911 emergency, someone broke in from a window, and they're inside the property and they're not answering the phone. Now, why would we go based off of why would ADT go based off of answering the phone? Well, think about it. If you were at your property, okay, and heaven forbid you accidentally tripped your system and you forgot to disarm your panel, hard to forget when a loud siren's going off, or perhaps you didn't get to it in time, or you forgot your code, which we'll get to on the panel. Don't you think you'll pick up the phone when you know ADT is calling? Of course you will. So understand that if somebody doesn't pick up their home phone when an alarm's getting tripped, you better believe it's an emergency for the police to actually show up to the property. So that's with the basic one-way system. With the two-way system, the process is still the same. However, how ADT verifies is completely different. And these are different packages that we offer. So the second one is a two-way voice system. Now, everybody's heard of OnStar inside people's properties. Well, this is how the two-way voice system works. Heaven forbid if an alarm gets tripped, the same thing happens. The system dials out to ADT, but ADT connects live over an intercom system inside the property. Okay, live via an intercom system inside the property. When they connect live over an intercom system inside the property, and heaven forbid that, let's just say, heaven forbid, that it's somebody inside the property who shouldn't be there, a burglar. They hear footsteps, of course, because it's a loud live intercom system, like when you're driving in a vehicle and you push the button for OnStar. Well, if an alarm gets tripped, they can listen in and say, identify yourself immediately, dispatch the police out because they hear footsteps or somebody gives the wrong password. Well, guess what? Police are showing up saying, hey, we have a confirmed emergency. Somebody gave the wrong password. And on top of it, we heard footsteps. If it's the homeowner, sorry, it's just me, Paul. My password's pizza. I accidentally, tripped the system. No problem, Paul. Next time, just disarm your system before the connecting. Yeah, they make a little joke or whatever. Goodbye. No problem. See you later. Goodbye. Now, something to note is that with these two-way voice systems, they only connect to the monitoring station by dialing out. So some people may ask you, so wait a second, ADT is just listening in my house 24/7? No. The system dials out to ADT when an alarm trips. It's outside one-way dial to connect to live to two-way. It's like speaker on your home phone. If you called out and then pushed the speaker button, then you can hear in. You first had to call out to that other party. Okay? The system dials out to ADT, then connects them over the speakerphone. Okay? So understand that. Next, we have the cell backup/primary system, and this is basically for a lot of people who do not have home phone lines anymore. Well, guess what? We have a special GSM unit, which is a cell unit that will get installed inside the property so that if an alarm trips, the system will dial out via this actual cell unit, a special cell unit directly for their system. And yes, they can get this two-way voice over the cell unit with ADT. Some brands out there don't offer this type of monitoring service because it's an expensive product. For us, we offer it. We're able to, if they don't have a home phone line, any scenario, if somebody wants an alarm system, we're able to get them a security system, from the basic one-way system to a two-way voice over their home phone line, or perhaps just putting in an actual cell unit. And that's the majority of times what we do, because our cell units are actually tied in with the majority of our interactive solution packages, which we talk about on a whole separate webinar, not to confuse you guys to get started. So here's a visual of how it works. The basic one-way system. This burglar breaks in. Number one, it dials out to ADT. ADT then contacts the home phone line. Remember, ring, 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 phone line rings. And remember, throughout this process, a loud siren is going off. And if the burglar didn't identify themselves with the correct password that we set up with the homeowner to ADT, you best believe ADT is saying, nope, sending Mr. or Mrs. Police Officer directly over to your property. That's with the basic one-way. With the two-way voice, Same scenario happens. Burglar breaks in, dials out to ADT, but when it connects live over an intercom system. And when this live intercom system connects into the property with ADT, you best believe if they hear footsteps or they don't give the correct password, ADT is sending out the police department directly over to the property. The largest asset is protected. And with the cell primary slash backup radio, and basically we back this up or else we put it on primary, the simple term is just basically, some people say, hey, I want to use my home phone, but if, let's just say that home phone gets breached, somebody cuts the line, can you still have it dial out via the cell unit? Absolutely. We can do a cell backup and prime directly. It's how we install the system. Regardless, we're going to actually give you that unit. And that unit goes comfortably inside the actual panel, and it's nice and neat and clean with touch screen panel to actually be able to dial out to the ADT and connect them live over the intercom system like we spoke about and get the police officers directly over to the property. Okay? Very, very important. So let's discuss the different ways that an alarm system can get triggered and tripped. We have door and window contacts. We have motion detectors. We have glass break sensors. We have smoke detectors. We have flood sensors. We have carbon monoxide detectors. We have duress/panic buttons. And we're going to speak about these. And by the way, hold all your questions till the end. So please do make sure you write down your questions. And at the end, we're most definitely going to go through questions if you guys have any, answer them, and and wrap it up. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you the basics of the keypad. Obviously, you guys will be using different keypads, which are located in your office based on what the hottest thing is in your current market. So I'm just going to explain the basics of an actual panel and keypad. You will have features on your keypad such as a numeric keypad, so which means there's going to be numbers, whether it's touch screen, which majority of times it is, but it's going to be touch screen. You will have numbers that are placed on your actual keypad. Now, why? Because the way to turn your security system on is basically to put in and arm your actual security system. Some panels require you to type in the number and then to turn it on, but the mass majority nowadays have a quick tool to where you just push the arm button and it turns your security system on. And there's multiple ways you can arm your system. You can turn your system on stay, or you can turn your system on away. Let me tell you the difference, okay? You can arm your system on stay, and you can arm your system on away. If you're staying inside the house, meaning it's nighttime, or perhaps you guys are putting on a movie, and you want to turn your security system on, you can turn it on while you're inside the property. If you want to turn your system on away, which means everybody's leaving the property and there's nobody inside the house, you can arm your system on away. And yes, we have pet-friendly sensors, so we're going to talk about that. But you can turn your security system on away when you guys are away and turn it on stay when you guys are staying inside the house. And I'll explain the difference once we break into the sensors, how they work. Also, you have the emergency medical response, police response, fire response on one button. You'll see buttons on your panel that have like a fire, medical, police, where if heaven forbid, let's just say there was a fire inside your house and they didn't purchase any fire detectors, well, they can push the fire button and basically it would notify ADT that there's a fire inside my property. Also, there's a medical button in there. Heaven forbid, help, I fall and I can't get up. Somebody's having a medical emergency. You can run up to the panel, push the medical button, and instantly, they'll have ADT will note that there's a medical emergency that's inside the property. And yes, it functions by the same way we talked about. ADT will dial back into the property. And if they have the two-way voice, they connect live over the intercom system. If it's the one-way system, they will actually dial back to the home phone. Ring, ring, ring. You can pick up the phone and instantly let them know what's going on so ADT can dispatch. And in the case of a fire, medical, or a police event, heaven forbid, somebody actually broke in and you heard that, you can run up and push that button and have them connect knowing there's an actual burglary. Okay, and we're going to talk about the different ways that can happen. So understand, we're so far 53 minutes into this webinar training, and I'm equipping you guys with how much information? I get it. There's a ton of information. I get it. There is a ton of information. But check this out. You see how much ammo so far? And I'm just touching the surface of what we actually have on how we can explain the products and services to our potentials so that when we go inside of a house, we can do an in-house presentation and get these deals closed. You have to be willing to open your mind to acquire these skills so you can build your confidence. So ultimately, at the end of the day, as an active knocker, you can go in. An active knocker means somebody, a door knocker who's active, consistently going out there, thriving to be the best. You can go out there, present your products and services in the proper fashion to get more of these accounts. To turn off a security system, okay, you just push your 4-digit passcode that they set up with the homeowner, and you push the off button. And that's it. It turns it off. A lot of times you don't even have to push an off button, just a 4-digit code. And all the details of your panel you're using are in your local with your manager, but also your technicians go over all this with your homeowner. And I highly recommend your first 5-10 accounts that you sell, you go back to the installation and watch the installer install the system. And I'll tell you why. It was a great experience for me when I first got started. I didn't do this, and this is one of my regrets that I've ever regretted. I sold and I never went back to my customer's house to see the actual system. What you'll notice when the homeowner actually gets the system installed, you will start to understand how powerful our products and services are and how much work there actually is involved in an installer actually installing the system inside the property. So when you're selling to people, you're not just thinking it's just this cheap, inexpensive product that we're just going to stick on their door and boom, see you later, goodbye. We're actually putting in a security system that's going to protect in multiple ways their actual property. It'll build more value inside your head about what you're doing. You'll actually start to see the homeowners come to life like, wow, you know what? I do feel more comfortable and confident now inside our property that if heaven forbid something did happen that, we're taken care of and protected. You see, this is something that you absolutely have to do to get better. You need to go back to your installs. So write that down. Make sure you go back to your first 10 installs. I challenge you to do it. It's very important and vital for you guys. Okay? Next, door window sensors. We're going to explain about the door window contacts. You see, there are hardwired and there's wireless. 99% of the installs we do these days are going to be wireless. A wireless system is a powerful system these days. It doesn't just cut out. No, it can't just be breached. They're encrypted. So basically, you have a small magnet and a little bit of a bigger one. What we do is we actually secure and protect the doors that come in and out of the property. How do we do this? We put one magnetic contact on the door frame and one magnetic door contact on the actual door itself. When a door is closed, these two magnets inside these are actually touching. Now, the bigger magnetic sensor, the white one you see on the actual door, it has a transmitter inside of it that sends a signal to the actual receiver, which is inside the panel. Very simple. If you know football or anything, if you pass, somebody's got to catch the ball. The receiver has to receive. Picture the transmitter as the quarterback who sends the signal, and picture the panel as the receiver, the person who catches and runs with it and takes that signal to ADT, okay, to get that touchdown. That's cool. All right, nerd. Okay, so picture that. Okay, you got an actual sensor on the actual door itself and one on the door frame. Now, what happens is when our customers wake up and they want to head out to work, they turn their security system on. Now, they turn their security system on away because they're all leaving the property and they head out to work. And now the security system is turned on. The door contacts are armed and ready to protect. Heaven forbid if a burglar kicks open that door while the homeowner is away from the house, well, what happens? Think about it. This door would open up and those two magnetic sensors would split from one another because that sensor on the actual frame itself is going to be stagnant. It's going to stay. It's not going to move. But the one on the door moves away from the other one. And since that magnetic sensor splits, it actually sends the signal, right? It fires the ball out. It shoots the signal to the actual panel, which receives the signal. And when that panel receives the signal, what does it do? It says, oh, whoa, I'm turned on. I'm armed. Mr. Prospect, Mr. Homeowner is not here. He's not here. So I don't know right now because I'm not human. I'm just a robot. I'm an actual panel. How do I know if you're a burglar or if you're the homeowner? Oh, quite simple. I know. If you're the owner of the property, type in their 4-digit code. And if you're going to be correct on this 4-digit code, well, guess what? Then I know, and only then I know you're the homeowner. So let's just say the real password's 1234 that the homeowner set up to turn on to identify themselves as the owner. 1234, perfect. Phew. As the panel, it can relax and say, aha, I am the owner. You are the owner of the property. Hey, no worries. Enjoy your day. But if obviously it's a burglar who breaks into the property, then if once they break into the actual property itself, what's going to happen? Instantly, what will happen is the system goes, you gave me the wrong password. I know you're a burglar. I'm telling ADT. And obviously that signal gets sent out to ADT. And when the signal gets sent out to ADT, we discussed how ADT contacts the actual inside the property to identify even yet another way. They connect live over the intercom system. They even give a last chance for the homeowner to pick up the home phone line. If they don't, they send the police department over. Okay, so 2 simple magnets. When it's armed, opened. Now, another feature that the panels have, which is we're going to get into later, is called chime. Just think about it. When a door opens and closes, it'll actually notify the homeowner saying, blink, beep, front door, back door, garage door, or perhaps a beep, 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 to let them know that the door was breached. If you're inside the house and your system is perhaps not turned on, but you have this feature of chime turned on, you can get notified every time a door opens and closes. And in our interactive solutions package, you can even get a notification on your smartphone instantly if an alarm got tripped, if a door opened, if it was left open for a certain amount of time. It's unreal. I just can't tell you how unreal the system is and how much there actually is to it. I've went over not even 10% of what the actual systems do. I mean, and I bet you already inside your head, you guys are thinking, dude, this is something that I really did pick the right path. And on top of it, you're thinking to yourself, why wouldn't I have one of these systems inside my house? Okay, let's talk about motion detectors. Well, not everybody breaks in from doors, although the mass majority of break-ins actually happen from doors. And by the way, 34% of a study shown, recent study shows, happens from a front door. The rest are, mass majority are from the back door because it's more secluded. But then also it happens during the day, not necessarily at nighttime break-ins happen. However, regardless of all that, I want to keep protected at all times. So we place motion detectors inside the property. And with a motion detector that's inside the property, see, motion detectors pick up on what? Motion. Motion, what's motion? Movement. Motion is movement. What type of movement? If a balloon moves across the room, is it going to detect it? No. It's an infrared sensor, which means it picks up the heat from a body that's 45 pounds and above. Now, why 45 pounds and above? Well, think about this. Do you have any cats or dogs? Do you have any animals inside the property? Well, we wanted to eliminate the fact of people turning on their system and alarms just tripping when just, a cat is walking by or a small little dog that they have is walking by. So we even have ones that go into a higher set amount of pounds. But just to keep it nice and simple, understand that it picks up from the heat of a body that moves in range of the actual motion detector. Well, what's the range? The key note here is that if you can see the motion detector in any residential property, the motion detector can see you. Okay? Find out from your manager which motion detector you are looking at. In any residential house, it doesn't matter. If you can see the motion detector will see you. If you're doing commercial, there are multiple different ones that can go longer range and stuff like that. But just note, in any residential property, if you walk past the motion detector, it will catch you. It will trip the system, and it will actually set the loud siren off. We also have glass break sensors. What's glass break sensors? What would glass break mean? The sound from glass shattering. You got it. Well, check this out. See the image on the right-hand side with this little type of solarium room or just bonus room, whatever you want to call it? Well, with a glass break sensor, you can place one glass break sensor on the top of the wall or perhaps on the side of the wall here, and it's going to listen in. Any window 35 feet in radius from the actual glass break sensor, well, it'll actually listen in here if someone smashes the glass. So if somebody breaks the actual glass itself and tries to enter the property, well, the second they go, you better believe that system will actually sound the loud siren. And it'll actually get ADT connected saying somebody in the bonus room smashed a window. And as we know, the way the system works, dials out to ADT. ADT connects live over the intercom system inside their property. Okay, so understand and note that this security system does protect and serve these properties. Now, you need to think of scenarios. Get creative. Don't just sit back and hope a manager is going to teach you and give you all the answers. Now, it's great to write down questions, of course, and ask this, but I want you guys to get creative. Think about your property. If someone were to break in from this place and I had a glass break sensor here, how would that function? When you're doing proposals or you're actually sort of doing presentations with these potential customers, when you're inside their house, give them options. Let them know. Say, would you be concerned about this area right here? Yeah. You know what I would do? I would actually place a motion detector right up here in the corner of your property. Why? You got quite a bit of windows. Now, of course, burglars don't typically try to smash open an actual window because it makes noise and stuff like this, but there are creeps that would do it. Check this out. If somebody were to smash this window open, guess what? I can actually have right here a motion detector in the corner, which will trip and sound the alarm system because the second they pop their head into this window, that motion detector is going to see them. And when they see them, it would actually trip the system, sound a loud siren. But also, if you still want to protect your window from somebody just smashing it so they stay on the outside, guess what? You can always upgrade, but you can also get a glass break sensor in this room over here as well. And I can get you a really good deal on the glass break sensors. We are looking for more clients out here in these neighborhoods to help us, with our signs, to get our signs out there, to basically have visual exposure to the neighborhood. As long as you promote the ADT brand saying, hey, I have an ADT security system by placing your sign in your yard, I'm willing to work with you and get you an awesome deal on a full out home security system that's catered to exactly your needs. So you guys can sleep at nighttime with ease, knowing that when you rest your head, that heaven forbid, if somebody broke into a property, that, guess what? You're protected. You're armed with the appropriate equipment. Okay? Note that. Smoke detectors. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, smoke detectors pick up on what we call heat rate of rise. Heat rate of rise. I'm going to assign you guys a video tomorrow that's going to show you in details about these smoke detectors, and you're going to see a live video demonstration of the fire department, which actually will set off one of these smoke detectors, how quick and how they function and work. But for now, just picture, they don't go off on as simple on the burnt toast and cooking as well, but they pick up on, if heaven forbid there was also a fire inside the middle of a wall, that it would pick up on the actual heat rate of rise. So there's massive heat change over a short period of time, but also special photoelectric ions inside of an actual fire. The special stuff that's emitted from an actual fire, it would actually go through. There's a laser inside, and it would pick up that, it would block that laser, and it would actually sound the siren, but also get ADT connected saying, hey, there is a fire that's going on inside this property. So just note that. I don't want to get into too much details right now about it, but picture, our smoke detectors are monitored, meaning heaven forbid, if someone were to actually have a fire inside of a property, there's dogs running around inside the house, no doggy door, there's cats inside of a property, just note and identify that this would actually get the fire department over to the property while ADT connects live over the intercom system, hearing loud barking, hearing, cats meowing, clawing, you name it. It would actually, or heaven forbid, you're put to sleep from a fire. Guess what? The fire department will show up to the property. We have flood sensors. Now, flood sensors, as we know, if heaven forbid there's a flood inside of a property, well, what's going to happen? Well, you see those two prongs? We install that low where they want the level of protection. Maybe they want it on the basement only, or they want one on each floor. They would actually put this on the actual right above the baseboard, or perhaps they want it right on the baseboard. Once the water rises above this level or touches, it closes that circuit. It touches the two prongs, and instantly they know there's a flood. And before massive damage is happening, it'll instantly notify ADT, and ADT would obviously handle the situation, contacting obviously the homeowner as well, notifying, hey, there's a flood in your basement. Do you want us to send a fire department out? Did you want to head out there? You're able to do all that with flood. Now, I'm going to speak a little bit about flood insurance because we have a dealer partner who basically had a flood in his property before getting into this business. And he had flood insurance, but in a lot of provinces, just to warn you, flood insurance doesn't mean they're going to pay you, folks. They basically look for multiple things. Now, here's a few things that his insurance company said. Even though you've been paying us flood insurance for 5 years, I'm sorry, we're not going to cover you, even though you had a flood. Why? Well, because number one, we need proof you turned off the valve on the side of the house if you were renting out the property. Well, he took a picture and said, look, the valve was done. Okay, sorry, that's right. Well, we needed two more things from you. We needed proof that you checked up on the property. Great, here's a gas receipt or whatever he did to prove that. But the last thing I needed was, a third-party monitored device that notified you that there was a flood. Oh, wait a second. What do you mean third party? Was there anything that gave you a text message, an email, or perhaps a monitored system that's monitored through like ADT that you can show me that actually triggered? So hold on. Wait a second. You mean to tell me I'm giving you money for flood insurance and the only way you're going to cover me is like if the random scenario of literally a little damage was done with? Yeah, that's right. Well, okay, then guess what? We're not going to, if you cannot prove that third one, which you couldn't, then that $40,000 damage that you paid us, by the way, an extra X amount of dollars a month for the last 5 years, we're not going to cover you. So that was an eye-opener to him, and I'll tell you, each and every system that he sells, almost all of them, you better believe, have flood sensors on them. Now, why for him? Because he's able to tell that story. He's able to tell that story to his potential customers because it's real, and it happened. Just do the research. That happened in Toronto. A senior, she had a stroke, went to the hospital, and she went to the hospital that night or the next night, she had a flood. She called her insurance company as she got better and went back home, and the insurance company said, no monitored device. Sorry. Oh, and you failed the one of you didn't check up on the property. Are you insane? And believe it or not, this was on the news. I had a stroke, and I was at the hospital. You want me to check up on the property? Sorry, I mean, that's in our policy, so we're not going to pay it. And I don't know if I know the news was going after them. Look, folks. The insurance companies, who likes them? Let's be honest. Nobody likes insurance companies. They're there to limit their liability. And by the way, you're gonna laugh, but and I'll explain that after. I might as well explain it now. See, insurance companies, they actually give you a discount on your insurance by having a home security system. Now, the exact same people that give you an insurance discount, why? They want money from us. Why would they give us money back? Why would they cut off? They want you to put this in their property. Why? So they can collect free money from you. What do I mean by that? And I always tell homeowners this. I say the exact same people who we all believe are money suckers who just want money from us, they want to limit their liability from paying you. If they're giving you a small discount on the insurance, it's not lots, anywhere from $5 to $10 a month, but still, money back is money back. But if they're willing to give you a small discount on your insurance, you best believe that you can put trust in an ADT monitored security system. They want you to get it so that their chances of paying you out on a crime, a break-in, is actually way less. And guess what? That's a good thing for you. You don't want to get broken into now. So limiting your liability, limiting your risk is very important in life. You work hard for your largest asset. You might as well secure protect it. Okay? And that's what we really break into and dive into. No pun intended there. All right. Carbon monoxide detector. So everybody knows what carbon monoxide is. If you don't, you got to do research on it. I'm not the biggest professional on carbon monoxide, but it's the silent killer. It can literally come from almost any gas leak inside your property. You can have no freaking clue that it's actually happening, but it'll put you to sleep. And yes, you better believe put you to sleep and kill you. It is not a joke. We have monitored carbon monoxide detectors. They are a little bit more pricey than your average crappy smoke detector. But guess what? Heaven forbid if there ever is a gas leak from your fireplace or your furnace, don't you want to be notified? Have the fire department, well, don't you want the ADT to call the fire department to rescue and protect you? Look, I'm not here to just give a basic system to somebody who really wants to protect their property. I at least equip them with the education of knowing what could possibly happen. And if, excuse me, at that point they want to protect their property with the best, I'm able to offer it to them. Okay? At least you're able to offer it to them. So note that this is monitored. It doesn't just go off. We have a key fob unit, which is basically a system that's designed where if they don't want to arm and disarm their system from their smartphone, they can have a key fob remote control to turn their system on and off. They do have to be in distance from the actual house, like in their driveway or closer, to be able to turn their system on or off, or to sound a loud siren, or to push a duress. See, what duress is this. It's a silent alarm, just like everybody knows in the good old movies where, a burglar, or even the newer movies where a burglar breaks in to a bank and holds up at gunpoint, but, the teller pushes that button under the counter and silently gets the police over. Well, that's what duress is. You can silently push a button that will not sound the siren, but will actually tell the police this is a massive emergency. Please show up to the property and hold it up as show up as a 911 hostage situation. Okay, so that's the duress button. And by the way, you even have duress on the actual panel itself. You're able, if let's just say your password's 1234 to turn your system off, but your duress password is 4321, which they set up with the actual homeowner, with the technician, excuse me. Let's just say the duress. So let's say a burglar follows your kids, heaven forbid, home from school, opens the door, your kids, they tell them, hey, turn off that system. If I hear the siren go off, I swear I'll beat you to a pulp. Okay, they put 4321, which is the duress code. System disarmed. But really it sends a signal to ADT. Do not call back here. Just please send the police department out. This is a 911 duress massive emergency. They will instantly send the police over with a 911 emergency in duress. Okay, so understand that all our products are wireless that I explained to you. They can connect it very simply. No, it can't be disarmed very simply. And that wraps up today's training session. Okay, so I want to thank you very much for showing up to today's training of the Alarm Guard 101 University. And by the way, now I want to open up the floor and ask any questions of you.